Hello and welcome back to my channel, and today we have a Sadanand who is going to discuss about his journey from how as a tester to a software developer, how he get from Infosys to an Atlassian, and all their experiences related to the front end development, and we will discuss about the interview experience too. So hi Sadanand, would you like to give a short introduction of yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Vishal.
Hi.
So, myself, Sadanand Pai. I have around 10 years of experience in the industry. So, I'm working currently as a front end engineer. So, I started my career at Infosys and then moved to multiple companies. So, today I'm at Atlassian working as a front end dev.
Great. Sadanand, I want to know your journey from the starting. Once you graduate from the, by the way, do you have a BTech degree or you don't have the BTech degree?
Yeah, it's a BE degree,
BE
Bachelor of
degree.
Engineering.
Yeah. So after the Bachelor of Engineering, what is the first company you have worked? Or what is your first role? And how did you get that?
Yeah. So after my engineering, so I got placed in on campus at Infosys. So I had to join after 8 months because of the problems of recession and delay. So 8 months, there was a new type of scheme, online learning, which was introduced in Infosys. That ours was the first batch for that.
Hmm.
So we did 3 months of learning online, the same course materials which Infosys provides during offline, and then went to Mysore campus. So I joined as a trainee engineer initially, and
Hmm.
after completion of 6 months, I become a full-time or a systems engineer at Infosys, and I continued there for next 5 years.
You work for Infosys for the 5 years as a system engineer, or did you change the role?
So I had joined as a systems engineer, and
Hmm.
then they changed me to test engineer, and there is no senior test engineer at that time. I'm not sure about now, but then they moved me into systems engineer back, and then again they changed it to senior systems engineer while exiting the Infosys.
Okay. And after the working 5 year at Infosys, where did you go to the next company and what was the role?
Yeah, so I was very scared to change the company at that time, and I
Uh,
did not know the process also. So then I applied to a company called as Sears Holdings, and there they waited for 3 months, the notice period, and
hmm.
there I joined as a associate engineer. That was into QA testing.
Okay, that was also for a testing. So you work for a testing around a 6 year, and then right now you are a front end engineer, or I can say senior software engineer. So how did you translate from the testing engineers to a software engineer?
Yeah, so after years, I got laid off within a month, and then
Okay.
I was searching for the job. So again, I was confused whether to go for dev or testing. And at that point, I got into a contract role via tech system to Schneider Electric. So there, as I was not having a job, I took an immediate decision and I joined as a senior test engineer.
Hmm.
So there I realized that I need to focus on what I like, and I need to focus on dev. That was my area of interest. And then started learning JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and whatever was required to become a front end developer or an engineer.
So
So that is
how much time it takes to learn, and how are you learning? Are you learning this front end development during your job or you quit the job?
Yeah, so I didn't quit the job. So as I said right earlier, I was very scared about the job process and other things. So I was
Huh.
not that confident even after like 5+ years of experience. So that time I decided to learn along with the job. So morning till evening I used to work and complete all my tasks. And then after coming to the room, I used to study for next 4 to 5 hours. So I used to go to office early around 8 o'clock, 8 or 7:30, and then complete all my work 5:30. Have some food, come back, and then from 6 o'clock till 10 or 11, I used to study and sleep.
That's a lots of work. You spend 8 to 9 hours at work, then 5 hours of studying. That's lots of work to be honest. But I want some advice for people who are used to like QA testing or any role and wants to switch to a software developer role, and they don't want to quit the job. So what should be the ideal time? Like you are spending 5 hours to learning, but that's not possible for everyone because of their traveling, lots of time getting wasted. So how much time they should devote, and what is the real strategy to prepare while uh, doing their job?
Yeah, so one of the important thing to know is that they need to have a proper roadmap, and along with that, if they have a mentor, it is very helpful. So
Hmm.
in my case, I didn't have a mentor, but at least I knew what should be learned from where should it be learned. So that is the very important thing I feel. So that is how I did. I had the roadmap which many people don't have. So what happens is that they go to random YouTube videos. Today they
Hmm.
watch array, tomorrow they watch objects, day after promises. So this is not how the things work. So
Yep.
they need to do it in a right manner. So if they get a mentor, it's good. And the other thing is about the resources. So first, we need to spend some amount of time to keep all the resources aligned. So what to learn first, how much to learn. So that is also one more thing. So
Hmm.
not just that you know what to learn, it doesn't help, but how much to learn, what to learn, that is also very important. For example, in JavaScript, let's say 80% of the things will be covered in 20% of the concepts.
Yes.
Now, rest of the things may be used very rarely. So, focusing on what is not needed or very rarely used, putting a lot of effort will not be worth. So, these are few very important things to note down.
Sadanand, you say that lots of people don't even have their roadmap. So how did you create your own roadmap? Like rather than watching some YouTube videos, how did you create your own roadmap?
Yeah, so during that time, I don't think I had referred any YouTube videos, and even at that time, YouTube's was not famous for front end. So
Hmm.
more focus on back end. A lot of material was available, but front end it was little less.
Yeah.
So I referred to Udemy. That was for the courses, and also You Don't Know JS book by Kyle Simpson for
Hmm.
JavaScript. So that was the main. Source for JS. And apart from that, for the reference, right? So one of my friend told me that if you do this book completely end to end by understanding, tell me if you don't get a job. So that is what he said, and he was one of the trusted person. Like I used to trust him a lot, and that proved right.
Which book? Don't know JavaScript book, na?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
that's a great book. I have also read like few, I would say few chapters, 2 3 chapters I read. That's an interesting book, but I generally don't prefer book. But if someone wants to learn JavaScript, then they can check out You Don't Know JavaScript book, or you can read from there. There is some repository as well.
right.
Yeah. So after learning front end development, how did you change from testings to how you will reach out to a company basically?
Yeah, so before reaching out, a few things which I did was that I was connecting with people to understand how the things work. So having the knowledge is one thing, and having the practical exposure is the other thing. So
Hmm.
I used to connect with people within the company to understand what they used to do, how they used to do, the different tools they used to do, used with respect to the design, how designers were giving the designs to them, what they were developing. So not only within the company, I used to connect with so many other folks. Whoever is available, whoever is front end developer, I used to connect. No matter they are from which company, how what is their experience. So I used to connect with them a lot. So from there, I got to know that what are the things, how the process works. So that is what I got to know from them. So after that, I decided that let me apply to the companies. And when I applied, the main thing is it starts from the resume.
Hmm.
I built
Yep.
a strong resume. Like I spent around 2 to 3 weeks to build my resume, and then take everybody's opinion. And here, other challenge is that everybody has their own opinion. One person may say this is better, other person may say something different you need to do. So there is nothing like a best resume, but you should be very confident on what the points you have added into the resume, and you should be able to answer whenever it is asked. So that is how I started with the process of giving the interviews.
So the reason behind they have a different opinion for the resume, because like for a startups they need a different set of skills, for the MNC they need a different set of skills. So and that's why a person working in an MNC they will suggest a resume in certain other way, or for the person working in a startup will suggest you have a resume in certain other way. But how, well, you say you spent 2 to 3 weeks for creating a resume. What exactly you did, how many projects you build, and how did you showcase your projects?
Yeah, so I had built one internal project which was used, which I built on Angular initially, and
Hmm.
same I converted into React. So in that way, I got to know how end-to-end building process works, starting from the understanding the requirement, what needs to be done. Though many people were not involved, I was the only one. But that environment I had created in my mind that I'm working on a project which has to be delivered with high quality. And then whatever was needed, I started doing those things. And it's the same thing along with few other learnings which I had in the past, like 6 years. Small, even though it was small, I
Hmm.
considered adding that. And what I did, I put whatever is not needed, very less. For example, I might have done a lot of work in testing, which is
Hmm.
not needed for a front end dev. So instead of adding those, I just
It's
removed
5 o'clock.
so only when it was asked, I decided to tell in the interview. So that is one of the strategy I followed. So to build this proper resume, which I felt confident, so it took a lot of time.
And I also suggest put only the things which matter for the job. I don't suggest to write a summary, and that is unnecessary. Writing a hobby section. Showcase your project, showcase your skills, showcase if you are working like have graduated from a BTech so or some other computer science related courses. Showcase that. Otherwise, you don't have to show other things. Rest these 2, 3, 4 things you just have to showcase, and the manager or the recruiter will see only these things. If there are any other things like hobby summary, they don't really care about that. So after 6 years of testing you work for which company?
So I started working at Trelleborg.
Huh. And how many years you work there, and what kind of role was that?
Yeah, so there also I joined as a front end engineer.
Hmm.
With whatever the project I had built, I showcased those things to them, and also showcased in the sense explained about those, and then whatever small experiences and knowledge. So they were happy with the whatever I have done, and I was suitable for the role. So it was a front end engineer role. I worked there for 2 years till I changed to the next company.
So after Trelleborg, where did you work, and what was the role there?
Yeah, so after Trelleborg, I decided to move on to a different opportunity. So I decided to try out mainly startups because right, nobody will hire me into some reputed,
MNCs.
yeah, MNCs,
Yeah.
those things. So that is the reason I decided that startups are the better choices. So that is the reason I started looking out. And a few startups I got into interviews, and then I could crack few of them. One of them being CoinDcx.
CoinDcx. Okay. And like, what was the working culture of CoinDcx, and how did you working? You work there at 4 months or 4 year? Okay. How much?
2.5.
2.5 year. And I recently see that they lay off. So
Yeah.
like, are you getting layoff, or what's the issue?
No, no. Layoff happened, but at the same time I resigned. So nothing related to layoff.
So no, Sadanand, I wants to know like what is the working culture of CoinDCS, and what is the role exactly like SG2, SG3? What is the role you offer?
Yeah, so when I joined CoinDcx, as I had a good number of years of experience, so they hired me as an SDA2. So
Hmm.
there were other interview rounds were not easy at CoinDcx when I had interview, and I continued there as an SDA2 for 1 year, and then got promoted on over to SDE3 in the front end only. So I
Within
was
a 1 year.
within 1 year.
Okay.
So the kind of work which I had done and the impact to the company was good. So that is the reason they recognized and promoted me to SDE3.
Promoted to SD2 to SD3 in 1 year, like that's a great achievement, to be honest. And how did you get into CoinDcx? Like, what was the interview experience? Like, how many interviews were there, and how they reach out to you, or you reach out to them?
Yeah, so I had reached out to them during that time. So there was a free platform, third-party platform for jobs called as Nth Hire. So in Nth Hire, I applied and then got a call back from them where initial online test was there. I completed that. And then after that, around 3 to 4 rounds of interview. After clearing those, it involved a system design, the coding rounds, the React, Angular, everything. So once that was done, I was taken into the company.
And is it like a remote role or work from office?
Yeah, so that time the COVID was active still, though it was not peak. Peak was done, but still it was there. So that is the reason. While joining CoinDcx, they said that I need to start working from home. It might be a bit difficult initially, but later, once office opens, you will have to. So that was the plan. But fortunately, or whatever we can think, for 2.5 years completely, I work from home only at CoinDcx.
Okay. So do you like goes to office like twice or thrice a day or once a month?
Yeah,
Did you go to office any day? Like
I have been to office few times. Generally, once in a year it happened. But
once in a year?
yeah, once in a year I happened to go, but I wanted to go more frequently, like once in a quarter. But though it didn't happen.
So like now the very interesting part that lots of students are looking forward to. How did you go from the CoinDCS to the Atlassian? What is the process?
Yeah, right. So at CoinDcx, when I joined, it was not a known company to many, but it became unicorn within some months after joining, and it became a very well-known company. So I was completely happy at CoinDcx, the kind of growth I got in terms of knowledge, career, everything. So later, I was not specifically planning to move out, but then a few companies had approached me, one of them being Atlassian. So when Atlassian HR reached out to me on LinkedIn, I thought about the opportunity and the role and proceeded with.
Okay. Sadanand, I want to know how many interviews round were there and what is the difficulty level of Atlassian interviews?
Yeah, so initially one discussion plus 6 rounds of interviews, and the difficulty I would say medium to hard range.
Medium to hard. Okay, congratulations, Sadanand, for getting jobs at Atlassian. You start from the Infosys and you just work hard, and get into the Atlassian. I want to know few advice for the students who are learning front end development. Lots of students, lots of freshers say that front end is saturated. What's your thought about like front end is saturated? Is there any jobs or supply on demand in the market?
Yeah, so most of the industries have this problem now, similar to front end. The main thing is that how you stand out when compared to others. So let's say 10 people are applying for a single job, and if you try to stand out in some way, then there is a huge chance that you can get into that.
Yeah, and that's why I see like lots of students are learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React.js, and they start applying. I see like almost if there are 1,000 people applying for that job, almost everyone have that kind of experience: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React. Right now, if you learn Next.js, you learn TypeScript, and if you learn little bit of mobile development like React Native, it will make you a unique and a very skilled front end developer as compared to someone who only know JavaScript and React. So what I suggest, learn React Native, learn Next.js, learn TypeScript, learn Tailwind CSS, learn all the trending tech skills. And if you want to learn all this, you can check out my web development course. I am teaching live right now, but now more and more recorded video will be uploaded in that series. So yeah, you can check out that as well. So thanks Sadanand for this wonderful session. If you want to say something, you can say.
Yeah, thanks for inviting, Vishal. It was nice talking to you. and you are also doing a great job by helping a lot of people. So keep it up.
If you want to know more about the Atlassian experience, how what are the exact question, what types of question was asked, what types of interviews round were there, so do subscribe for this channel, and I will maybe record the next video for that as well.